FEAST stands for Feeding and Empowering All Sustainably Together. At every feast, we host a community meal that is made for and with vulnerable people. At each feast, we eat as equals and we share our culture with our meals and our food. Hello, I'm Hannah, the founder of FEAST. I'm also a dietitian in my day job. FEAST started as a grassroots initiative back in 2015. I was a graduate. I was cycling into hospital from round the corner to where the first feast started, and I was seeing food poverty on the street every day. And my job at work was to help people with malnutrition, and I could see that the work I was doing wasn't affecting the people who need it the most. So I went into a local homeless shelter near to where I lived and said, can I run a meal here? And the manager said, yeah, of course. Let's call it FEAST, see you next week. So I thought, right, I better do something about this. I went to the Sainsbury's up the road and said, can I take your surplus food, you know, any dented stuff that you can't sell? And they said, absolutely, we've wanted to give it to a charitable cause, not to landfill for so long. This is great, come and pick it up. And so it began, and the residents at the local hostel were really delighted. It was a nice family feel that they don't really get in other aspects of their care and their experience at the hostel. The volunteers were basically my friends and family. They came along and said, yes, this is awesome. I'd love to cook with people and learn about their cooking methods and their favourite recipes. It was a very lovely community from the get-go. And also for the staff at Sainsbury's, they were really keen because they'd just been throwing things away and it just really went against the grain. So for the hostel site, they were super keen. They don't have the wherewithal to run a programme like that in amongst all the other things they're doing for such vulnerable people. So it was a very happy arrangement, and it was kind of a marriage of social action projects, because it was really tying up a lot of different societal needs that everybody was keen for it to progress. And so it became a charity in 2017. It grew into 3 hostels weekly, each one. And I can't believe it now. You know, the need in COVID obviously became very clear. The local councils granted us as an essential project or an essential service, and from there our service expanded enormously very quickly. It was a crisis response, and food poverty still should be seen as a crisis now. Unfortunately, there isn't the infrastructure to support so many people who need food aid and food service. So what FEAST is doing innovatively is to use the surplus food available, use the goodwill and the skill of people from vulnerable and otherwise to food poverty, and to bring the community together in places where it's needed and often looked over. Oh, you know, go and get a local takeaway and be done with your food for the day. No, that's not the answer. It's really about empowering people to be involved in their food journey, where it's so often missed. Right now, food poverty is skyrocketing. We've seen people coming through a broken food system without strong food leadership and policy. So right now in 2022, in the aftermath of a pandemic, there are lots of people who don't have a service to access, who need to access one. There's a lack of consistent guidelines around what food aid and food service should look like. And there's different stakeholders involved at different ends of the food chain, but there's no joint up working. And that's where charities like FEAST can work in partnership with other bodies such as local councils, such as farmers, such as all parts of the food chain. People can't afford a meal, so it's bigger than just providing food service. It's actually about helping people to be able to afford a meal that is dignified, that they like, and that they don't have to ask for help with beyond their quite limited circumstances. So it's really about a wider governmental, societal effort, all in partnership to resolve this problem, to give people the dignity that they deserve with their food and nutrition. The future of Feast is that there is no need for Feast or charities like us. One day I hope that food poverty won't be an issue that needs to be addressed. As part of our new programming, we're hoping to provide tools, practical, educational, informative resources that can help people to utilise the surplus that they have, or the small kitchen that they might have, or and be able to make meals that they enjoy without needing to depend on other services or people to be able to make their food that they enjoy. The next steps for Feast are to be able to empower individuals to care about their nutrition, to utilise the skills that they have in their kitchen or in their space where they can cook something, and give people the skills to do it by themselves without needing to depend on a service. We would love to keep the community meal element and keep people eating together in a familial and friendly space. That's what we're really good at Feast. But then to grow Feast, it would be to help people not to have to depend on that community meal. I've seen Feast grow over the years, and an incredible number of dedicated, kind-hearted, compassionate, competent volunteers have come through. The staff team are incredible and have run it and held it all together in amidst chaos and fluctuation and difficult, challenging times. So I just want to thank all the staff, all the volunteers that have given their time, that have come back week after week to really make it a very special service for the people we support. So thank you to all of those individuals.